Good morning and thanks so much for joining in. You're watching Ask Profit. My name is Mathew. With me is Smriti Chaudhary, and we'll take you through the next half an hour of trade. Now, this show is geared towards getting you answers to all of your stock-related questions. So if you've got them for us, then send them to us on the WhatsApp number that is on your screen right now, or in fact, on any one of the social media platforms that you might be tuned in on. Let's very quickly take you through how the markets are faring right now. And in fact, it's a very narrow range for the benchmark Nifty 50 in trade today. And that consolidation from yesterday's session continues today as well. You have the Nifty 50 with trading near the high point of the day, but still with gains of only about 0.2% or so. Remember, trade across markets, risk assets around the world are seeing a little bit of muted action all through the week. And that starts, of course, from the US markets. In Asia as well, you're seeing a little bit of muted action. For our markets, you have the broader markets that are doing slightly better. And you have, in fact, the mid-cap 150 index that's gaining about 1/3% at this juncture. And you have the small-cap index, which is trading with gains of about 0.5%. I'm talking about the small-cap 250 index. And so, therefore, I would think that the market breadth is tilted just a tad bit in favor of the advances, or well, it's more or less even Stevens at this juncture. It was, in fact, earlier in the session tilted towards the advances. In terms of some of the sectors that you should be watching out for in trade today, let's pull up that screen as well. And in fact, you've got most sectors that are in the green today, and this is not what was the case yesterday. In fact, the biggest gainer today is the realty index, but it's up only about 0.9% or so, and consumer durables and IT also leading gains. Of course, we're talking about IT at the start today in one particular counter, Tata Consultancy Services, and Smriti is telling you why that is.
Well, we're seeing TCS up in trade today. It was the biggest gainer on the Nifty 50 a while ago, but now it has slid down to the second position while HDFC Bank has taken over. Now, if you look at the UBS note, there's an upgrade on that note, and they have revised their rating from neutral to buy, and they've given a price target of 4,700 from 4,050 earlier. Now, their reasoning for that is that they expect TCS to outperform its peers, that is other Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra and sorts. And this will be because of their revenue growth in FY25. Now, UBS also says that this is not completely priced in. So the impact of the large deal ramp up and the scope of margin improvement, we're yet to see that happen, and that's not priced in yet. So which is why the target price is slightly higher than before. Now, on that note, let me introduce you to the guests for today. We have with us Astha Jain of Securities and Osho Krishan of Angel One joining in. Welcome to both of you, and thanks for joining in. Now,
very good morning.
Good morning. Asa, I'll come to you first. On TCS, we're seeing a big upgrade by UBS, and we've seen some weakness in IT pack as a whole. But now maybe the tide has turned and TCS is set to outperform others. Do you also believe that's the case?
Hi. Good morning to all of you. So yes, if we talk about the TCS, the results which came out, that were good. Basically, we have seen that the company has shown strong performance, and their book-to-bill ratio is standing at 1.1. That is sounding to be good. And why I'm talking firstly about the book-to-bill ratio, because that is the major criteria for looking of the future performance. So yes, the tailwinds were not very high, but still they are maintaining book-to-bill ratio of 1.1. And yes, we have seen some sort of moderation in the client discretionary spending. So that is impacting the performance. But I think going ahead, the way we are seeing the US economy is going on right now also, I think that will not be a major case or that cannot be a negatively impact the company's financial performance going ahead. This is what we believe. So yes, even we are positive about this company, although our price target is not that high. At the initial levels, we are keeping the price target of around 4,200 for this counter. So yes, even we are positive on the TCS on the back of it results. And one disclaimer from my side, it might be there in our PMS holding. So keeping that in mind, we are recommending again buy on this counter for the price target of 4,200 at the initial level and maybe 4,350 later on.
Fair point. On the fundamentals, Tata Consultancy Services is a buy. Astha, I'm coming back to you on the first question we're taking today, and this is from Ravi Kumar, and he's asking about whether or not this is the right time to invest in the cotton textile industry, where he has seen some bit of drop in the prices, or he sees that the prices might just be a little attractive at this juncture. Would you suggest a buy in any of the counters in that space?
Industry as a whole, yes, we have seen the drop in the prices, and might be that can be a good counter to say right now, yes, that we can do some sort of investment, but still I want to wait a little more before making a new call in this counter or in this industry as a whole. So maybe I'll take another quarter to see the results, because ultimately the results need to be seen. Right now the results which are coming from these counters are not that strong. So maybe if we can see the impact of these increase in the prices, I think then only we can take a call. So it might take 1 or 3 months to just see the or review the things. So my idea here is not to jump into these counters right now, which are into the cotton textile industries. Wait for some more time. Let the Q4 FY24 results come and then take a call.
Got it. Next up, we have a short-term query, Osho. So this one's from Rakesh from Hyderabad. He's talking about Natco Pharma. He bought the shares at 1,033 and he bought 100 shares. From a shorter-term perspective, would you suggest holding on to this?
See, Natco Pharma in the recent period have seen a very huge movement from the zone of nearly 850 odd levels till 1100 odd zone. Currently, it is consolidating, or we can even say that the counter is under time-wise correction phase. So after the vertical rally, there can be some consolidation that can be seen in this counter, but it is having a very strong technical perspective. And from here onwards, it is making a base near the 1000 odd levels. So any development above 1050, 1060 on the spot zone can give a strong thrust in the counter. So from short or even from medium term perspective, one should stay invested in this counter. The immediate target comes around 1200, but it still has the potential to move towards the zone of 1250 to 1300 from a medium term perspective. On immediate basis, 1100 to 1160 should be seen as the immediate resistance or immediate target for short term perspective.
Okay, the next question is coming in from Mamta, and she's asking about EPAC Durable. I would understand, Astha, if you don't have specific fundamental coverage on this particular counter. It's just under 2,000 crore of market capitalization. But what should she do? Should she buy it on the fundamentals if you have coverage?
Basically, this company came out with this IPO recently. So yes, we did cover that in our IPO note. And at that time also, our view was not positive about this company, and we have not recommended subscribe on this IPO for the short term. Maybe if anyone has a long-term perspective, then only we have recommended that. So talking about this company, I'm not very much comfortable with the kind of business this company is into, because there is a lot of competition and there is nothing particular which this company is doing great, as we have seen in the cases or other cases also. So talking about this industry, there are various other competitors also. So the competitive intensity is high for the business which this company is into, and that's why we were not very much comfortable about the business model of the company. Secondly, the pricing was not very reasonable. They have kept the pricing at a at around the average level also. So as far as I remember, the price to earning multiple was also not very low. So I mean, talking about these factors, I think right now also we are not very much comfortable about entering into this stock. So what we recommend is that don't enter into the stock at this present moment of a time. Give it more time, let it fall more, and then only we can see. Even results should also need to be seen. So I think after both, results as well as a decent correction in the stock prices, one can enter into the stock. Right now, wait and watch is the strategy which one can adopt.
Got it. Next up, we have a question from Shyam Sundar Gupta. He's written to us on YouTube. He says that he wants to invest 50,000 rupees from a perspective of 3 months and is expecting an upside of 20%. Osho, would you have any stocks in your basket that are capable of giving over 20% returns in the next 3 months?
See, that would be great if I can identify or I can claim a counter to give a return of 20% within the 1 quarter of time period. But there are many counters which are looking very positive on the terms of technical perspective and even from the front of valuation. For me, I would I will first bet on large cap company like HDFC Bank. HDFC Bank, after seeing a decisive correction from the zone of 1700 towards 1400 now, so one should definitely try to keep that counter in their portfolio. I am not very much surprised that in the coming period it can give a very strong returns, but cannot claim to have a 20% kind of a return within 3 months of time frame. But if one can hold this counter from medium to long term perspective, one can definitely witness a very strong returns in HDFC Bank. Second, which is having a bit of higher beta upfront that can give a strong volatility or a strong movement that can be seen, is from Havels. Havels is on a verge of multi-week breakout, currently hovering around 1460 odd levels. So this is one of the technical pick also. So one can definitely try to gauge the momentum coming in Havels for a higher target of nearly 1520 on immediate basis. But from a longer duration or positional perspective, even one can target for 1600 odd levels, 1640 odd levels in the coming future. So these two companies one can put in their portfolios.
Got it. I'm just trying to see, do you have enough data on Jana Small Finance Bank, Osho? And if you do, we've got Senthil Kumar, who's writing in from Salem in Tamil Nadu, asking whether or not it can be bought at the current market price.
See, this counter does not have that suffice technical setup or development that can be enough for giving such kind of recommendation for a shorter or longer duration perspective. But overall, whatever data is there, one can definitely look for a accumulation purpose for a medium term time frame. It's not a very short term perspective, one can get a decent returns, but from a longer duration, yes, one can definitely bet on this counter for a higher targets near about 490, 500 can be seen on immediate basis. But from longer duration, one can definitely keep this counter in their portfolio.
All right. Next up, we're talking about NBCC. Shalini bought the shares at 161. The current price is below that. Now, Osho, she wants to know if, now this is a multi-bagger in the last 1 year, but is the upside potential limited from here on? It's been on a bit of a downturn in the last couple of sessions.
See, the recent movement from the zone of 100 towards 175 odd levels was very vertical. So one should not be very much surprised with some kind of correction or cool off in the counter, because if we will be seeing the movement was approximately 80 points, so even 50% corrections comes around 140, 130 odd levels. So currently it is hovering around 50% of the retracement. So from here onwards, there can be some kind of time-wise correction that can be seen, but longer duration, it is a very positive counter and one can definitely keep this counter for investment perspective. For shorter term, there can be some kind of consolidation or even further correction in this counter. On immediate basis, the support lies around 120 to 125 odd levels. On the higher end, again, once the counter moves beyond the zone of 155, then it can gain some strong traction in the coming period.
We got Babu, who's asking about Grindwell Norton. He's been holding it for the last 2 years, and he's been hoping that the abrasive business would do well. The question is to you, Astha, on the fundamentals. What is the long-term outlook based on your reading of the company, and should he hold on to his investment?
So long-term outlook is positive. First of all, want to give the price target, which is 2,500 at the initial level. So talking about this counter, yes, this counter is looking good to us. Although they have the results which they have posted, the moderation was there in the bottom line. It was just a 10% uptick which they have shown in their bottom line as a growth. So I mean the bottom line's growth was not very high, but looking after the industry perspective, we are positive on this counter and recommending a buy as well as hold for the price target of 2,400 to 2,500 at the current levels.
All right. We'll slip into a short break, and after the break, we'll take rest of the questions. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit. Now, we are in the midst of the query segment, and you can see that number on the bottom of your screen. If you've got a question for us, you can send them to us on that number. We've got Vishwanath Gowda, who's writing in from Pune and is asking about Shilpa Medicare, which he's bought at levels of 448. The stock is currently trading below that, and in fact, he's losing a little bit of ground, but he's asking whether he can hold for a period of a month or so. Osho, based on the technicals, based on the charts, should he hold on?
See, definitely this counter, if I'll be looking on the weekly time frame, this counter has given a cup and handle pattern breakout from the zone of nearly 380 to 390 odd levels. So with the pattern development that is also on the downtrend, is a very positive development on the technical chart. No doubt, because from 380 we have seen a very vertical rally. So it might retest the neckline of 390, 400 odd levels, but one should stay intact in this counter. The duration or the higher target, both are very huge. The duration is approximately 3 months, and the target comes around 520 to 540. So one should definitely stay invested. If there is some dip towards the zone of 390, 400, then even one can add more positions in this counter.
Got it. Next up, we're talking about Arjun Chemical. This one's from Satya, who's written to us on YouTube. He bought the stock at 600 levels. It's currently trading around 800 or so, above that. From a longer term perspective, Astha, do you have coverage on the stock? And if you do, is there any target for the stock?
Talking about this counter, sorry, I don't cover this stock, so I cannot comment on that. Arjun Chemical, we have not this stock in our coverage.
All right. I'll take it to Osho then. From a technical standpoint, what's the kind of trajectory do you see for the stock?
See, the technical breakout have been seen near about 660, and the positional target comes around the zone of 900. But as there has been a vertical rally from 660 towards 800 odd levels, so one should definitely keep trailing their profits with a revised stop loss. At present, 760.65 is the zone where one can keep their stop losses to trail their profit. On the higher end, 900 is the positional target, but in between we might see some kind of correction because the technical parameters are definitely overbought. So even if there is some kind of correction below 7.5 towards, let's say, 700, 720, then one can even further add positions in this counter. The positional target remains at 900 odd levels.
Okay. We've got a viewer writing in from Leh Ladakh. Smanla is writing in, asking about two counters, but I will take a question on NHPC, which Smanla is bought at levels of 97. Where's the stock currently trading? Let's take a look. It's trading at just below that price at around 91. So Smanla has got 2,170 shares of this particular counter. On the fundamentals, Astha, NHPC, part of that entire power pack that has been in focus, would you say that it's a hold at this point?
Hold this point, but one thing I think she can see some more downside in the stock prices, and the reason behind it that we have seen the degrowth in their bottom line. Apart from that, in fact, the price to earning multiple of more than 28 is also not working well because the industry is running at a 20p multiple. So I think from the valuation perspective as well as the financial performance perspective, the stock can see more downside. But in the longer term perspective, because of the industry tailwind, we are positive on this counter. So my take here is that wait for some more time, at least for 3 months, and make it as a long-term holding, because in the short run we can see some more pain in the stock, but in the long term I think the cost price again can be seen, which is 97 rupees, and this stock has a potential to move above those levels also, provided if they post strong financial performance. But for the time being, the stock can see more downside. This is what we believe on the basis of their past financial performance.
All right. Next up, we're talking about Sangvi Movers. This one's from Amit Rastogi on YouTube. Astha, do you have a fundamental view on this one? It's the stock is a little bit of in a downturn today. Yeah, no, sorry, it's up 1%. Apologies there. Do you have the stock in your coverage? And if you do, is there any target in the stock?
Yes, we like the stock. In fact, we have recommended in the past also. So talking about this counter bottom move, it has shown in past few days, I should say, or a few months. So now the major reason behind is the 95% increase in their bottom line in the Q3 of FY24 goes well with the company's stock performance also. Apart from that, the industry in which this company is into, so we have seen the automobile industry is really growing strongly, and what we are expecting moving ahead also, this industry will grow at a decent CAGR. So that will also help the company in showing strong financial performance going ahead. So on the basis of the strong financial performance of 95% rise in the bottom line in Q3 of FY24, we are really positive on this counter, recommending hold on this counter. Price target can be set at 1200 to 1250 at the initial levels.
Got it. All right. Jignesh Shah from Ahmedabad has got the next question. He's asking about PTC India. The purchase price is 239.7. He's got 161 shares. Let's pull up the chart and see what it's currently trading. And we've got Osho. Osho, what's the view on the chart? Should he hold on to this one?
See, again, as we have seen, there has been a very strong movement in this counter from the odd levels of near to 130 odd levels towards the 250 odd levels. So there can be some correction that can be seen, and these things should be considered healthy in a bullish market. So any consolidation towards the zone of 190 to between 190 to 200 odd levels should be considered healthy. The technical parameters have cooled off from the overbought zone towards the comfortable zone of just above the oversold territory. So from here onwards, one can expect the rally to continue in the recent period, but before that there can be some time-wise correction that can be seen. So one should stay intact for a medium to long-term duration in this counter.
Got it. Next up, we have a question from Vignesh. Actually, he has multiple questions, but I'm going to take the one on Tata Motors. He says that he already is sitting on a profit of 40% on Tata Motors. Now, we've seen certain reports, Astha, that Tata Motors is planning to list its EV business. Now, from that perspective, how do you think this is going to unlock value for the people who are already into the stock from a longer term perspective?
Definitely, it will create a strong value for the people who are already into the stock. Apart from that, what is working well for this company is their guidance, especially if I talk about JLR. So they have really shown strong performance. And now, in fact, if I talk about the guidance also, whatever guidance they are giving is looking very positive. So yes, I mean, the combination of all will help this company to move further from here. And we can see a northward rally in this counter, expecting stock prices to move towards north side, and our price target for the same is 1100. So recommending buy as well as hold on this counter with a price target of 1100.
Fair point. We've got Tarun who's got the next question, and he's writing in from Ranchi. Tarun, thanks so much for writing in. Tarun wants to know about Indus Tower, and we've got Smriti who's been talking about Vodafone Idea and their plans to raise capital. That's going to be discussed today, of course. And that could, in fact, have a positive bearing on Indus Tower. So let's get a fundamental view on this Astha at the current market price. Given everything that we know about this particular counter, would you suggest a fresh entry?
Yes, one can make a fresh entry because I can say a turnaround case from the negative or a negative profit in the Q3 of FY22 to the positive profit in the Q3 of FY24. So I think a turnaround case from FY23 to 24 makes a case to buy into this counter. We are positive on this counter and recommending buy as well as hold. Price target can be set at somewhere around 280 at the initial levels.
All right. Unfortunately, we're completely out of time on this edition of Ask Profit. Thank you so much, Astha and Osho, for joining and for answering questions for us. And viewers, if we were not able to take questions today, and there are multiple of them that I can see on YouTube, we'll definitely try and take them tomorrow. So come back tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. But lots more coming up on NDTV Profit.